welcome to episode 1 of Be Gay, Solve Crimes, a podcast that asks the question, why did 3 trans women independently all want to be detectives before we wanted to become women? I'm November Kelly, a podcaster. I also have a background in law and some criminology as well, long-time reader of detective fiction, and now really determined to understand why this genre made me the way I am. And I'm joined by 2 co-conspirators.
I am Lucy. I am your local librarian. If you did not have a local librarian before, you have now been assigned one. And it is me. It is Lucy.
Assigned Lucy at podcast?
If you cannot afford your own Lucy at podcast, one will be assigned for you.
Oh, you hate when the mob guy gets arrested and they bring in the, big money librarian?
My experience with detective fiction was I was introduced to it by my granddad as a kid. I used to sit down and watch Sherlock Holmes reruns on TV with him. And I was immediately taken by this model of masculinity that seemed to be much less physical, much less sort of athletic in the way that other sort of action heroes were at the time. And that appealed to me as someone who was terrible at sports. But at school, I got so taken up by this idea that I ran a small detective agency out of my locker. We did not get any commissions. We did not get any requests, but we were nosy. And I think that's, a core part of the effort.
You're halfway there.
Yeah. And we are joined by our partner in crime.
Hi, I'm Mia Mulder. I don't have a crime background, but I was a politician for a while, which is kind of like the ultimate cop.
It's the ultimate crime you can commit is running for office.
Yeah.
There are 2 types of mind. You have, the consulting detective and the consultant criminal, and, aspiring politician is definitely on one side of those.
The consulting politician.
Yeah.
It's both at the same time.
I think it's a breadth of expertise, but the main reason why we're gathered here is because I think detective fiction, right? Any protagonist of any fiction is exceptional, but the detective has sort of exceptional intelligence or cunning or something that enables him or her to sort of to track down and sort of avenge crime, right? In a way that puts them outside of social norms. That often includes gender norms. And so I think it makes sense to start with the detective. Because if being a detective is about being a weird little guy who is not really a guy, one of the weirdest and least guy-like detectives I know.
The lankiest man on earth.
Yeah. A man who canonically does not know that the Earth revolves around the sun. Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, who needs to know that? It's not relevant,
not important.
frankly.
Yeah, because Sherlock Holmes does not know that the Earth revolves around the sun because in his own telling, he has made himself into like an instrument, right? He has refashioned his entire mind and body in pursuit of a goal which, is sort of like true to his own self-expression. This is going to be easy as fuck.
I think
right?
so.
I'm not worried about this.
I wonder why people say that he's autistic. I don't see the resemblance at all.
Not at all. Not at all. This is going to be the easiest mystery to solve ever.
Yeah. Well, this is the other thing about this as a podcast is no laws, no rules, no expectations, right? Because as with any group of 3 researchers looking to investigate a hypothesis, we are cherry picking flagrantly.
Exactly.
We are going to pick the stuff, which is our privilege to do. And obviously, I think, predictably, that means starting with the 11th Sherlock Holmes film.
The 11th of Basil Rathbone specifically. We could have done this chronologically. We would have spent the first 82 films doing silent films. Podcasts are an auditory medium. Do you know how difficult it is to get a good audio drop of a silent film? Let alone a good 47 of them are also Danish somehow.
Well, funnily
a Danish
enough,
silent film.
you mentioned, but I did manage. I went through the archives and I pulled all of the funny drops from all of those Danish silent films, and here they are now.
Shut up! All right. Oh, amazing.
Well, the reason you this is perfect. We're starting with the one we're starting at because you've pitched me as this is the one that involves hypno. Sissy hypno, but not really.
Sissy hypno.
Do you want just the drop of the sissy hypno, just to get us all into a nice sort of space mentally?
Let's get
This is the Sherlock Holmes film that includes this audio.
You'll feel yourself growing drowsy. Don't fight it. Give in to it. Empty your mind of every other thought. So smooth, steady, deep, strong. And you're very close.
God.
This is pre-1940s voice training. You know, I'm obsessed with the kind of and I'm very smooth.
Very smooth. This is all the sissy hypno you can get away with during the Hays Code, you know. And we'll get to the fucking Hays Code. We are starting with the 11th Basil Rathbone film, The Woman in Green, which is a hilarious title for a black and white movie. No reference to the color of her dress,
just
ever.
Trust us.
It is The Woman in Grey, I think, maybe.
I have to imagine it's because, like, in some sort of popular psyche, green is like the color of hypnosis, I would rather.
I guess maybe, so. It's like green ink or something. It's something like, again, like The Detective, unconventional and seductive and a bit sort of like anti-normative.
I suppose it's like how in fantasy RPGs and things, you have green as the color of poison, purple as the color of dark necromancy magic and things like that. So who knows?
But so we begin in the time and place most associated with Sherlock Holmes. The 1940s.
The 1940s. Yeah. So,
1945.
These films, there were a good couple of them that were set in the original Victorian era. This was quickly dropped after the war broke out, and they decided that they would adapt Sherlock Holmes for the modern era and have him fighting against Nazis. Literal Nazis, the Gestapo. We are going to eventually return to those because they are absolutely fascinating, but we are coming after the war has ended. We are now in 1945, and we are going back to sort of your more standard mysteries, but still in the 1940s for some reason.
It is set in 1945. But could you tell if it didn't explicitly say in the very beginning of the movie 1945? The rest of the movie seems like it was written as a standard Sherlock Holmes thing, because it does not matter the rest of it. It's
a strange sort of mix of, anachronistic styles, which I think, in my pre-transition fashion era, I related to. I mean, I've never met a cis person who wears a waistcoat.
Yeah, again, the kind of confluence of a detective, trans woman, like meeting at the point of thinks they can make the hat work for them.
You can't make the hat work.
I can. I'm different. I'm built different. I'm built more different than anyone.
I have a whole segment in my notes specifically about his hat. I'm not kidding. This might be a recurring segment.
To anyone out there who thinks they are a cis man and they are still wearing the fucking hat, you are not making it work, but you can make the estrogen work, darling. I promise you. Take that leap.
But so we begin in, I guess, kind of 1940s London with a really funny opening where no Sherlock, no Watson. We're in Scotland Yard. And all of the detectives of the CID are getting berated by the commissioner on the basis that they kind of haven't done their crimes homework. And what he says to them is,
"And you haven't turned in one clue."
Yes.
Which is, I love this idea of like, what a detective does is generate clues.
Exactly.
And then you turn in the clues for a quest reward,
you have a clue
which is
quota.
catching the guy.
You rue.
Yeah.
You have 0 out of 5 clues on the LA Noire clue counter. You haven't found them all.
We will do an LA Noire episode.
There's also some weird like window action to start off the movie itself.
Absolutely.
And a horrible extreme tonal shift into being like, oh yeah, a bunch of women have been murdered. It's like Jack the Ripper, it's horrible, everyone's dead, more people might be dying, you haven't done your work, and more people will die. But we're gonna do some fucking comedy.
It's a 90-minute film.
No, less than.
It's like
significantly
an hour.
less than. For those who are wanting to watch at home, this is in the public domain. It is available on YouTube. It is a tight 68. And it still somehow manages to have padding. I don't know how they do it. Don't do the 6-7 hands. You're one off. You're one off, Nova.
It's within the margin of error. But yeah, it has jokes. It has jokes about sort of like closing the window so you're not freezing, and then the commissioner comes in and opens it. Completely unimportant to the plot.
Yeah.
But it's just there because they felt like there was, much like the clues, there was a joke quota that you had to include for the audience.
This actually, I need to slip this in before we talk more about the movie itself, because this, like, I think around like 10 minutes into this movie, I had the idea of like, oh, so the Star Trek parody episodes where like Data becomes Sherlock Holmes, they're all based on this type of movie, because it's the exact same vibe of like very kind of low budget, very weird tonal shifts, the joke quota, and like a weirdly unfocused plot.
Pronunciations of words that I have
I'm sorry.
never heard
Are we talking about the pronunciations now? Because I have just so many. The way that Basil Rathbone, who we haven't even introduced yet, pronounces the word blood, which is one of the key words for a detective, I would say.
Blood, blood, blood.
Different every time. It's magical.
It's incredible. I was referring to
They might give you an inferiority complex.
the commissioner comes out with. It's just like incredible cleaving apart of syllables.
You have not been meeting your clue quota, and because of you, women have been being murdered.
Yeah.
And this is, not of a time when anyone even pretended to care about women, to be clear. So this is very much like women have been being murdered, getting their fingers cut off by some kind of depraved Jack the Ripper style serial killer. Bring me more clues.
And incidentally, in the original screenplay for this film, it was significantly more gruesome insofar as it was going to involve the murder of children specifically.
Ooh. And someone in Universal in 1945 was like, "That's too grisly. What's a kind of human people don't care about? Adult women, I guess.
Women. We can't
Kill children, but women is fine.
Yeah, and like tonally, this is while it's all over the place to us, for the sort of viewer of the time, this is firmly in the kind of romp territory. Like Holmes is like an established kind of like guy, a mystery is an established kind of narrative, and so we don't get a Lestrade here. We get Inspector Gregson, who's the other one in the sort of Holmes canon.
Audiences are suffering from Lestrade fatigue at this stage.
Yeah,
We need a bumbling
sick
idiot.
of this guy's shit.
For us, this is the first film we're doing, but they've had 10 of these thus far. And the release schedule, absolutely unhinged. I think this was about the fourth one that year. Genuinely extraordinary productivity.
Just like, you are in the Second World War, you are being bombed, and you're just like, well, at least I'm still going to have my quarterly Sherlock Holmes release.
Exactly.
The MCU doesn't have anything on this shit, honestly. I can imagine audiences being quite tired, like, because you're living under rationing, but the only thing that you have in abundance is Sherlock Holmes movies.
Well, at least we have plenty of Basil Rathbone left in the bomb shelter.
There's no more cheese, but you can have Basil Rathbone until you die.
Day 794, Basil Rathbone again.
And so Gregson, this detective, but like the shit kind of detective, the government kind of detective, the bumbler, is like, I gotta go to a real guy about this.
Yeah, and also incidentally, a working class detective, and I think that's a really interesting thing that sets Inspector Gregson and Lestrade apart, is that they are working class, and Sherlock Holmes is an example of a gentleman detective. This was the kind of person who was not necessarily a member of the aristocracy, but certainly moneyed and independently wealthy in some ways, and having had a good education, or what was considered at the time a very good education, and that sets him apart as a detective in that era from the kinds of people that we are, as an audience, kind of supposed to look down on, and especially with Inspector Lestrade, who in other films is even more of an oaf than our dear Watson will be shown to be. Poor thing.
Oh, we have a great oaf here. Yes,
one of the greatest oafs of all time. The
greatest oaf ever told.
the oaf, or the earth, as if you will, which we won't. We're going to continue.
The Earth,
the Earth, with a number.
We're really establishing the scientific lingo that we're using for this gender analysis of detectives.
So. This is a very, very, highbrow academic podcast. Welcome.
I think so.
Welcome.
welcome to our scientific analysis of gender, where the bumbling oaf is the peak masculinity that the gentleman detective is trying to escape from.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting to me that Arthur Conan Doyle is kind of, at least in terms of physique, the sort of polar opposite of Holmes. This is a man who was wider than he was tall, who judged, boxing competitions, Victorian bodybuilding competitions.
He's one of the Charles Atlas kind of like big clubs, sort of like stripy swimsuit kind of guys.
Yeah, exactly. Very much a man of action.
It's like, what if I imagined myself as something completely different? Again, there's a thesis here that I'm trying to draw out, but we must go to 221B Baker Street.
Yes, where we are introduced to our boy in the deerstalker hat, by which I mean the tweed fedora.
A horrendous hat. Horrendous.
Hat watch in this episode, diabolical.
It's enough of a crime to be wearing a fedora. For it to be tweed as well is surely unforgivable.
I made a note. I focused so hard on the fucking hat, and I stand by it, because there are so many hats in this. So many hats, respectable hats. Holmes is the worst and the weirdest, and it stands out so much, even to his own outfit. I don't know why he has it. It shines brightly on screen in this black and white movie, more so than I think any other piece of clothing or furniture.
That's what the fedora was always designed to do. It is, pay attention to me, the hat. Yeah, and he wears it indoors as well a lot of the time. It's like, this is unheard of. You would be taking your hat off.
But so Gregson meets Holmes.
He meets him at the mortuary to inspect a dead body of a young murdered girl.
Unnamed.
Oh, yeah.
About the age of Inspector Gregson's sister's girl. There's a direct comparison there.
Yeah, it's like, women have worth because I'm related to some of them.
Related to them, yeah.
Oh, my cousin's uncle's daughter on my mother's side is a woman, I think. Guy being like, I'm half woman on my mother's side.
You're like if a man and a woman had a baby.
This comes up so little in the movie, I feel like. Like, the women don't matter, at all. They're literally just a framing device for then later to talk about like hypno phenomena.
Yeah. Well, there's an interesting thing where while beholding the spectacle off screen of this this murdered girl, Inspector Gregson gently puts his hand to his forehead, and Basil Rathbones Holmes very preemptively sort of goes, steady, get a hold of yourself. And it's like, what? He just raised his hand. He could have had an itch.
That was the most emotion that you could show as a man in the 1940s, 1890s, was to be like, I'm going to lightly touch one temple, and everyone would sort of immediately slap you across the other cheek and go, don't get hysterical,
being
man.
hysterical.
My God.
I just assumed that was kind of just how the UK operated.
Oh, it still does.
That is also true, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't pick up on that. It's just my experience of British people.
And so from there, they go to wash away some of the horror of what they've seen by going to...
the post-morgue drinks. Yeah, the morgue afters.
In the noisiest bar with the most powerful Foley work I think I've ever seen in any movie ever.
Yeah.
Like, the clinking of the noises and the pouring of the water was so intense in my ears that, like, it shook me to my core a little bit.
The misophonia bar.
Yes, very much so.
I have been in the misophonia bar so many times.
Not to re-expose you to this, but I do want to give you the drink order that they put in at this bar, which is just incredible work.
Whiskey and soda, please, and a double for my friend here, Inspector Gregson. There you go, sir. Make mine Irish.
Which I'm sorry. I mean,
what does that mean?
Well, initially I thought it could have been
just Irish whiskey, but like I took it to be like Irish coffee, and it's like put some more whiskey in my whiskey and soda.
An Irish double whiskey and soda, as I like to call it, a triple whiskey and soda.
Hold the soda.
Yeah. And I love the idea also of introducing the bartender to your friend. You're going to make my friend Inspector Gregson a drink.
Exactly. I mean, this is a bar that Holmes seems to have frequented in some way, given that the bartender knows who he is and lights his cigarette for him. This is a Holmes who smokes a dart at the Art Deco bars.
Cigarette is weird as well, like, because Holmes is like sort of a pipe smoker in the popular imagination, and like cigarette in a pub is dangerously normal.
Going over to Dictionary Corner over here, or as I like to call it, Girl Dictionary Corner.
No.
In the
no.
original, in the original Sherlock Holmes books, he does in fact smoke cigarettes from time to time.
Like a woman?
Like a woman, yeah.
The form of cigar that was invented for women, and that's why it has a feminine ending on the end?
We are going to see some absolutely unhinged tobacco locations in this film, but we will get to that.
Yes, but they see this couple, Sir George Fenwick, and a woman presumably in green, but to us functionally in grey.
It's yeah.
No, in purple. Holmes make a comment that's just like, I'm not a fan of the purple.
Oh God!
So I assume the dress is purple, which is like the movie is called The Woman in Green, and you're not even gonna have like the woman be in green.
The woman in green's iconic purple dress.
Oh, come on. This, what, like a TVR? Just this, pearlescent dress?
I honestly was just like, is this like a purple herring? Or like, what's going on?
I'm afraid I did this stuck in my craw, and I had to go looking for it. And it is an idiom. Instead of saying that he is not fond of the purple, the phrase is not born to the purple, in the sense of clearly not aristocratic.
I can tell from your green dress that you were not born to the purple. I'm a normal detective.
Colorblind human being.
So
That's some shit like Crusader Kings nerds would say. Like, you're not born to the purple.
it is a Crusader Kings trait, yeah. But so that couple leave together. Holmes sort of mentally sort of files this.
Not before Sir George Fenwick holds up a box of matches from that bar and says, "This was a clue that will be important later."
This is my beloved clue.
Exactly.
Treasure
I
is
will.
always.
I would never part with this. If ever I am to die, be on the lookout for this particular matchbox.
So this woman takes him home, where first of all her maid is waiting, and her maid seems to have a real kind of maybe Mrs. Danvers thing going on.
And this woman is rocking the shit out of a brick.
You can't say
no. She
these
is
things.
stubbing a cigarette. She's stubbing a cigarette out on a brick, and the brick is
the brick is wobbling. It's like a brick on the
brick is
balcony.
wobbling.
Yes, this is, as they used to call me in drama school, Chekhov's brick.
Shut the fuck up.
Amazing.
It will be important later.
Yes. Another LA Noire clue noise. Plinky plonky piano noise.
Yes.
Yeah, keep an eye out for that.
I did want to sort of like lift here that like the woman from the bar, the woman in green, is like they're talking weirdly, like openly about fucking.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder where she's taking him, and they're just like, don't be naive. They're gonna go fuck.
They're gonna
say
go
that
fuck
with those words.
Hays Code style.
On two separate beds.
Yes.
With the camera panning to the drapes.
We're not going to show any of the inner thigh at all.
Two cigarettes in an ashtray.
Bouncing on it with your clothes on. Not even bouncing. Gonna do the Hays Code Mormon soap.
I was just weirdly surprised for a movie from 1945 to be so like open about like, no, they're going to fuck.
It's weird, yeah.
She is going to fuck him.
We're catching it kind of on the downswing from the pre-Hays Code stuff, where it used to be more explicit than this, and now it's kind of retreating. But so she's like, we got to do some sissy hypno before I can fuck you, which I'm so often hearing is the thing.
She gets into a bit of a tangent. I mean, initially she's sort of waxing lyrical about
ADHD happens to the best of us. Mind you, we're 26 minutes in and 3 scenes into the film, so
we'll be all right. We'll be all right. We got this. We
haven't even mentioned milking yet.
Oh, we will. We'll mention.
And we didn't even mention her racist table.
Christ.
This is an apartment with horrendously racist furniture. I don't know how else to describe it other than
I didn't even notice any racist furniture.
It's also gigantic. It's a gigantic, like, backlot built kind
obviously a film studio.
Yeah, wonderful.
The highest ceilings you've ever seen. If you had ceilings this high in London, you would have to get into the sissy hypno business. Otherwise, you couldn't afford it.
This is the friend's apartment for sure.
But so about this tangent that we would
never go on
returning
tangents.
to the tangent.
Yeah, they're sort of beating about the bush, metaphorically. And eventually she sort of cuts across him in a sort of, I lied, I don't have Netflix, we're going to look at my toy boat collection.
Yeah, this would work on me for sure.
Yeah, again, I've had nights like this.
Where's my toy boat collection? I have one.
What she gets is she gets her housekeeper, who is Scottish, by the way. All housekeepers in Sherlock Holmes' world are Scottish. I don't know why we're a nation
It's just
of
a rule,
housekeepers.
yeah.
But she gets we're going to affectionately call her Mrs. Danvers here. She gets her to turn on the Philips Hue bisexual lighting, which I would know nothing about, and puts on a sex playlist for the Hays Code, which I think includes like Mendelssohn. I think I don't know.
Just only the horniest violin concertos.
Exactly, because we can't have jazz or anything like that because Sherlock Holmes is a figure of the Victorian era.
But that's what I mean. There's no sign here that this movie takes place in like beyond 1845. There's no sign of it.
No.
Like this could be. There's no radio ever, if I remember. Like everything is like you could tell me this is set in 1860 and I would believe you. You know what I mean?
This record player could have been a gramophone. She has him look into her sort of hypnotic induction device, which is a big bowl of water with a lotus flower sitting on it. And she has they do some interesting stuff with the mirrors in this scene where they shoot them sort of through the reflection. They don't get the mirrors the right way around, but you can't have everything.
Is it odd, isn't it, how the light is reflected? And it's like, well, I mean, yeah, because you've swapped places now, apparently. So, baffling. What we then get is a sort of mysterious fade to black, and we go and join our boys, Basil Rathbone and Nigel Bruce. Nigel Bruce, a man with two first names, and Basil Rathbone. Also a man with two first names, if you're not being a little bitch about it, I guess.
This is my son, Rathbone.
Rathbone. Come here.
Full legal name, Rathbone.
But they are, I believe they are in the apartment of the murdered girl. And they are trying to get more details. And they have a brief discussion about Jack the Ripper and about murdered women. And this is where the Hays Code rears its head again. It's this interesting thing where Holmes says that this couldn't possibly be someone like Jack the Ripper. All the victims of Jack the Ripper were from one walk of life. And he can't bring himself to say
which we are not identifying.
We cannot possibly tell you what the one walk of life is.
They all had one profession in common.
It was
the age of that profession is oldest.
And it deserves no sympathy, because it's an era where you could not make a movie that showed sex work in any kind of sympathetic light at all. It may well be that
really at all.
Yeah,
it only alludes to it.
Exactly. You can suggest perhaps that the killing of these women is something that ought to be stopped, but they are seen as being undeserving of any kind of sympathy necessarily because they are from one walk of life, as opposed to these victims who are chosen at random apparently. And if there's one thing we know about homicidal maniacs, is that no homicidal maniac would ever do anything so homicidally maniacal as indiscriminate murder.
Of course not.
Only the discriminate kind.
It is too random to be random. Stunning insight, Mr. Holmes.
Nice little tugging at the heartstrings here of Nigel Bruce's Watson reading the last thing the victim ever wrote. A letter that went undelivered.
Dear sister, I am so happy. I had such a lovely holiday at Brighton with you and Alf. Poor little thing. Sort of raises a lump in your throat.
Post my Twitter drafts when I die type shit. It's just like she's done like a longhand letter that's like, I love being not murdered and having all my fingers attached.
Nigel Bruce here is inventing a kind of mumblecore hitherto unheard of.
There's a lot of mumble.
Oh, I have a beautiful mumble from him later on. The thing about Watson in particular is we are dealing with firmly oath here, and there have been different kinds of Watsons. I think often of Kate Beaton did a comic of the different kinds of Watson: normal Watson, gay Watson, stupid Watson.
Yes,
Nigel Bruce is
gay, stupid, and oafish.
He's the stupid one, and like I remember reading, like one critic said of him, like he could not be if there was a mop bucket in a scene, he would step into it, right? Like that's his role. And so we start with him kind of imbuing one of the victims with a bit of dignity, kind of, and then the whole rest of the thing, he's just gonna be around just saying things,
sort of noises. Yeah,
There's a lot of that, actually.
You got to think it's a very wearying day for Nigel Bruce, having threaded this needle of bumbling oath to arrive on set to see the director sort of greasinously gesturing towards a line of buckets of water that he's got, spread out like landmines across the set.
Oh, brutal. So our boy Sir George, freshly sissy hypnoed, wakes up in what we are to understand is a hovel, but would now run about $3,500 a night in Zone 1.
Looked great, actually.
Yes.
Envious.
Yeah.
On the misspelled Edgware Road.
Yes.
The road where you edge your wares, I believe. Don't quote me on that.
Freshly having edged his wares after the sissy hypno. Yeah, he wakes up in this like hovel, and he hears like a newspaper boy outside being like, murder, read all about it.
The news,
Great murder.
The news urchin. We had loads of...
I love the murder urchin so much.
Who was
Just
very
like-
enthusiastic about it, and I wrote in my notes of like if this was set in a modern adaptation, he would very much like very loudly yell about like another plane hit the Pentagon, read all about it.
Did you not get your news of 9/11 from the news urchin?
I get all my news from the news urchin. Twitter is a bottom feeder of a sort.
I was about to say, it's the only mainline news I would trust anymore.
Yeah, shouting about Greenland. But so he goes in his pocket and he finds that instead of his normal male underwear, he's wearing a pair of frilly. No, he finds like a loose finger, and he's like, I don't remember getting sissy hypnoed so hard I cut a woman's finger off.
Sometimes you wake up in a flat that you don't recognize, wearing your party clothes from the night before, not knowing what happened, and you put your hand in your pocket and you find an appendage you didn't think you'd have. You just didn't know you'd have one of those. And
Usually when I've found like a mysterious finger inside me, it's been attached to someone still, rather than like and so he concludes from this: I have murdered. I have done 9/11 that the boy outside is shouting about. I am one of the brave 19 Saudi hijackers.
Ask not for whom the street urchin yells, he yells for thee.
And so he panics.
He runs back to the sissy hypno lady and being like, I don't remember the last 10 hours. What happened? What's going on?
Having some strange thoughts about my gender.
I mean, I am. Have you seen this woman? The woman in green is absolutely astonishingly beautiful in this. And sort of leans in with a very sort of like, dear, how shocking.
Only fancy, Mum. There's been another of those horrible murders.
Dear, how shocking.
Yes, Mum.
Mommy?
Yeah.
Mother? And then there's a weird knock on the door.
I'm sure it's nothing, but that knock at the door, you'd better answer that. And a man who is, I would say, close to the Hays Code legal limit for how much you could allude to someone being gay.
Oh, yes.
Our boy. Gay Moriarty.
Yes.
Yeah. The man that has a pocket magnifying glass for looking at art. This is not heterosexual behavior. I'm sorry.
Sits down, crosses one leg over the other, and goes, "This is a blackmailing. You are being blackmailed."
I did note that he did sound weirdly like Sheldon from Big Bang Theory.
Oh, God. Oh, he does.
Right?
Bazinga, Mr. Holmes.
Bazinga.
I kind of expected him to say Bazinga after a while, which again, I guess goes to sort of like the how gay can you get? It's like it's pretty gay. Bazinga.
It speaks to the cultural impact of the Big Bang Theory that I'm desperately trying to remember any Sheldon Cooper quotes that I could do.
No, it's just that. It's just
Bazinga.
And with your spirit. So he is blackmailed because he is from a famous family and has money, and if they don't if he doesn't pay them, they're going to go to the police and his name will be ruined.
His name's Sir George.
No one will ever be named Sir George again. The implication here, and Holmes says this later on, is not that the British justice system will convict him wrongly, because the Hays Code does say that you can't show justice being defeated, right? It's only that, like, the accusation will be ruining. So
Yes,
even if he
yeah.
sort of like gets away, you know, and he proves his innocence in court, right? This shadow hangs over him.
He's going to get cancelled.
Yeah.
Very reputationally preoccupied here, yeah. We return to 221B Baker Street, where our dear Oafish Watson is having an enormous breakfast.
King, beast
And
mode.
Basil Rathbone is eating nothing at all because Basil Rathbone is on a diet purely of cocaine and pipe tobacco and
Grapefruit.
The pipe is interesting because now I can start the kind of like the big timer that I have, because Holmes keeps his pipe tobacco in what I would best describe as like a kind of jester shoe, like
it's the elfin shoe, yes.
like a curly toed.
I think it's a Persian slipper, yes.
The slipper on the mantelpiece, and he goes in that slipper multiple times for like the foot tobacco.
He's digging around in there for the toe tobacco, the tobacco, if you will, which we won't. ADHD is an interesting condition, and sometimes the waiting lists are very long, and all you have to be able to medicate yourself to be able to solve this fucking murder is the shoe tobacco and a 7% solution of cocaine, okay? And if Wes Streeting has a problem with that,
Relatable.
then I don't know what to tell him.
Literally me right now. I'm running out of ADHD meds.
Nootropics, Watson.
Sherlock is summoned by instinct to the window, and he detects a woman.
He does,
And
with his woman detector.
Let me just say, he immediately begins to read this woman for film.
I know.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
This is a man who does not know that the Earth revolves around the sun, doesn't know who the Prime Minister is, no knowledge of anything that is not functionally linked to his abiding interests, right? Who is able to lean out of a window and unprompted say,
She isn't wearing any gloves. A startling omission in a young lady of fashion. Furthermore, the bag doesn't match her dress, indicating respect for size rather than style.
Yeah, it's a brutal read. I think she looks good. I don't know about you.
She looks fine.
I was watching this being like,
not wearing
damn,
any gloves.
That's a cute. You don't need the gloves. You don't need
No
them.
gloves.
It looks
Boom.
nice. You know.
Watson also just like immediately sees a woman on the street and goes like, attractive.
Well, attractive. Very attractive.
Very attractive.
Watson is vocally heterosexual, too much so in this, I would say.
Affirming the theory that he is like the Übermensch of heterosexuality, of like the normal gentleman,
Yeah.
where contrasted to the much superior Holmes gender.
It's fascinating because I mean we then spot a taxi that has been following this woman for quite some time by Sherlock Holmes's estimation, and says,
I wonder why he followed her here.
and Watson just says,
Oh, wouldn't you?
"What, son? This is ridiculous!" Like, see, I know, tell you, boo. Yeah, what are you talking about?
Yeah, just
man?
like, of course, a normal thing to do, stalking a woman.
What do you mean? What's wrong with that?
I think
Wouldn't you?
Holmes does this, but for work, you know? Like, Watson's just doing it for the love of the game.
It's the 1940s. It's just a normal, healthy activity.
Being stalked by Oaf Watson, and it's just like, I'm walking home and I keep hearing someone stepping in mop buckets.
I'm quite attractive.
Oh god, the telltale boom shlunk boom shlunk of Watson's.
A man with a 6-foot stack of mop buckets.
Continuously mumbling to himself.
Yeah,
It's gonna look like the fucking Iron Giant. Both legs shod in mop buckets.
And that's just something that women had to deal with by then.
Holmes kneeling in the street, going into his mind palace and being like, Watson, there seems to be some kind of metal elephant stalking London.
But so the woman comes in, and this is George Fenwick's daughter, right?
Yes.
And she's like, oh my god, are you smoking tobacco you got out of a jester's shoe?
Smells like shoe tobacco in here.
This completely put me off what I was going to say, which is I saw my dad in the middle of the night burying a cigar box in the garden, and I dug up the cigar box and I brought it to you because I'm an inveterate snoop and I'm worried about my dad.
I was concerned when I saw him because he was wearing a paisley dressing gown.
The fit's incredible, yes.
The paisley dressing gown you wear when you want to be, inconspicuous.
Skulk going out his guards.
It's kind of, like a dazzle camouflage, I think.
And so Holmes opens this up, and it's the finger, and so the game is afoot. They go to Fenwick's house, and Fenwick dead. Extremely dead.
Dead.
Some real classic, face down on the carpet, sort of knife in the back. Actually, he's been shot, but, same difference.
Grisping in one hand.
They bundle that daughter out of the room as quickly as is humanly possible.
You're being hysterical. She has not reacted yet. She hasn't seen anything.
They open the door like a slight angle, and everyone just out.
I'm pretty convinced she doesn't even know what's happened yet.
One of the two ways of treating women in the 1940s and 1890s, I guess, was firstly to stalk them covered in mop buckets, and the second is to kind of preemptively restrain them against any hysteria that they certainly would experience if they ever felt anything. And so it's like a rugby scrum. It all it's incredible. Like, all of these men.
Do we actually see her again?
Nope.
Jesus, no.
She just disappears
the film. She is gone.
Institutionalized instantly.
Absolutely
just like
gone.
Watson lobotomized this woman.
Yeah.
She's being hysterical, and what she has done is go...
Yeah, a slight gasp.
Yeah.
What we then enter the part of the film where, you'd have the investigation mode music going in the background if this was LA Noire.
Yeah, they mooch about for a bit. Two things I love in this scene. One is that Holmes, while he's sort of wandering around saying things like
Blood.
is he enters every scene hat first, in the sense that he tosses this fucking fedora into the crime scene, and then goes after it and looks. And so he throws the fedora on the desk and then gets down on the carpet and pries this dead bastard's wrists apart to get at the clue concealed inside.
It's like, Watson, observe the clenched raised fist. Look at the angle of the legs curled around up towards his backside. This is a man who clearly died of a heart attack while screaming spring break and jumping into the air. There's another bit as well where he sort of goes, the killer clearly came through these windows, and the camera pans over to some open French windows with the darkest, most conspicuous, muddiest footprints you have ever seen in front of a pair of French windows.
Yeah.
Man. You're probably right. I guess
that's the detective at work.
We've also established that he's been shot in the back with a small caliber revolver somehow. I don't know how Watson managed to put that together, just based purely on eyesight. But Holmes here is sort of strolling around going, I'd wager that he turned his back for one moment, and then the revolver was pointed at that back, and then the gun was fired, and he was shot in the back.
Devious form of murder, waiting until someone turns around and then shooting them.
It's the kind of completely baffling surface read that made writing detective fiction seem like the easiest shit in the world when I was 11. It was like, oh, well, you just list out the clues. This is a man shot in the back. I wager he was probably shot in the back. This is the genius. This is the man.
This reminds me, there's also a weird amount of justification for Holmes discovering that he has something clenched in his hand when you could just look at him and see that he has something clenched in his hand.
Death agony.
He's reaching for the desk.
Based on detective fiction, I would feel so bad if I got murdered and I wasn't, with my last moments, able to sort of scratch a message or grasp a clue or something. If I was just splayed out like a dipshit, I would be so embarrassed.
Yeah, just rubbing the floor gently with my stubby fingernail.
That's why I always have half a written note in my pocket, with half of the important clue written on it at any given moment.
Printed form. In the event of my death, my killer was, and then a box that I can tick.
Save some time.
Yeah, not write anything. You don't have time to write anything. We need a tick box, which means listing out the people who you think are most likely to murder you.
Done. Ready.
In his dying moments, he crawled towards one of those button arrays for dogs that presses when you press it as a sound.
Stab. Wife.
So crucially, what we discover in his hands is, and this is the payoff for our LA Noire clue noise earlier, is the matchbook for the noisy misophonia club that we were in earlier in the film. and that gives them. We finally have one clue. The clue counter is now 1 out of 5, or however many it is. We're getting there. We're getting there.
Holmes immediately from this goes, Moriarty. Napoleon, a crime, mate.
Has to be. No other option.
Yeah.
It's gotta be.
Because that's his nemesis. That's his guy. That's his special boy.
He's assumed to be dead too. He's assumed to be dead, but no, he's alive. I know from the matchbook.
He would never get killed by something as insulting as hanging. It has to be me, right? And so we're on the trail of Moriarty. They go back to Baker Street, and Watson is lured out of the house by a phone call being like, can you help me? I am a fat woman who has fallen, like, trying to feed my bird, which prompts him to say, maybe, I think, my favorite line of the thing, because it comes out of nowhere. There is no discussion about this. He just ventures this.
There ought to be a law against fat people.
What?
I don't know what could. There's a bit earlier where he's grabbing his doctor's bag while about to leave the house, and he blows.
Oh, I have that.
He blows all the dust off it, and you got to presume that dust is in fact actually just the powdery film of cocaine that is on all of Holmes's possessions at this stage, and that accounts for why he suddenly goes on this bizarre rant.
To give you the sense of Watson's dialogue here, what he says as he's dusting off the medical bag is,
Haven't used that bag since I brought little Amelia, what's her name in the world? Grew up to be a very unattractive child. Oh, who wouldn't with a name like Amelia? What Amelia? Amelia.
What, man? What?
Very attractive.
It's sort of 3-hit combo of like, cannot hear a word he's saying. The words I can hear him say are very unattractive child.
Yes.
It's also, he gets asked to go do some medical stuff. And when he picks up the phone, he's like, I don't do that, I'm retired. And then is persuaded to do it. And I love this idea, and maybe this was true back in the day, that like once you stopped being a doctor, you could kind of still do it if you really wanted to. Like you were allowed.
Yeah. They took away your medical license as just a symbol. It's fine. You can still do it. It's okay.
Absolutely.
You don't need the British Medical Council's approval.
Ring, ring. It's Moriarty.
Yes.
It's gay Moriarty.
So Moriarty enters the room, and this is one of the most famous scenes in the Sherlock Holmes canon, both in terms of the film and the books.
It's thrillingly erotic, I will say that.
Yes.
I think the thing that people sort of don't really expect about Sherlock Holmes and Moriarty as a pair is that they don't meet very often. His introduction in the books comes in the story that was supposed to be the final one, the final problem, the problem that killed Sherlock Holmes.
It's sort of like a Red Grant situation in James Bond. I'm going back to the well there, I suppose, of what if we had a guy who was as good and like the same, but on the other side?
Some kind of chiral opposition here, some sort of shadow.
Would you fuck your kind of mirror opposite?
Yes.
And in this case, they absolutely would.
Yeah. Exactly. The answer is, of course, yes. Like, not least because my mirror opposite is a top. So, like, I'm set. Like, they have this incredible discussion where Holmes sort of, like, vows, like, to the ends of the earth, I will throw you off a fucking waterfall, Moriarty. And Moriarty's like, sort of square brackets, homosexually. Like, that sounds lovely. And the line here is,
And we shall walk together through the gates of eternity, hand in hand. What a charming picture that would make. Yes, wouldn't it?
It's cute.
It's gay.
Get married. Get married.
You get back in there and kiss that man on the mouth. This is delightful. You can sort of see why so much AO3 fan fiction ends up getting written about this sort of, dynamic that we've got going on here.
The vibes scream sloppy gorilla sex.
I do sort of feel sorry for what? Sorry, what? Yeah. Sloppy.
So the vibes scream sloppy gorilla sex.
Okay, well, the thing is that I heard you, but you're gonna have to clarify.
Sort of a Watsonian.
Sort of some kind of orang-utan. This is... so
a lot of upper body strength in sloppy gorilla
they will
sex,
tear you apart in a not fun way.
Is that not a saying?
Mia, I have never heard that expression in my entire life. Perhaps I'm not having enough sloppy gorilla sex, but this is... I should have more sloppy gorilla sex.
Very neat gorilla sex. Moriarty leaves with a kind of like, you'll never catch me, and you'll certainly never have gorilla sex with me. And at this point, Watson just misses him, right? Watson comes in and is just like, this is a real love triangle situation.
Yeah. Every time Moriarty gets brought up, Watson makes the sort of noises of, oh God, he's bringing up his ex again. You know, this is okay, yeah, but, you know, I'm here, and maybe I'd like some sloppy gorilla sex. Do you ever think about that?
Holmes is like, I will not have sloppy gorilla sex with you because we have to work. I have deduced with my powerful brain that you were lured out of the house on a pretext, and while you were there, the window shade in the house across the street, 218B Baker Street, is open. Do you like the sort of mental arithmetic happening there? Watson, go and investigate while I sit here and think about the ex I can't get over. And so Watson goes, he takes a torch, and he sort of complains about this. He makes a noise in the course of this, which I would struggle to transcribe, but which he sort of like poking around the house, and he does the sort of video game guard, must have been the wind kind of reaction, and says, just sort of bumbling through the house, stepping on different mop buckets, tripping over rakes and brooms.
Yeah, meeting the gorilla from the aforementioned gorilla sex. Yeah.
Fuck, I forgot about the gorilla.
There
is a gorilla in the movie. Fuck, you're right.
It's true.
This is a bit cameo part by the culprit of the murders in the Rue Morgue, disguising himself as an umbrella stand. If you have enough umbrellas in Victorian London, you can just hold still, and people will presume you're an umbrella. They'll hand you more umbrellas. It's a free umbrella economy. True. You just sell those things. It's great. There's people on the streets of London hawking whatever. There's a guy in an earlier scene hawking shoelaces that he advertises as being strong enough to hang yourself.
Shoelaces, Governor? Tons a pair. And strong enough to hang yourself.
That was the primary concern in Victorian or 1940s London.
Just in case you need to kill yourself.
We've had the murder urchin, the suicide urchin.
And so another man enters. A man with the affect of the freshly sissy hypnotized. And he's walking a little strangely for two reasons. One involves the gorilla sex. The other is that he has a rifle secreted down one leg of his trousers.
Pointed up at his face, so far as I can work out.
So you can kill yourself at a moment's notice.
He picked it up from the suicide urchin earlier.
Yeah. And so from the 6th floor of the Baker Street Schoolbook Depository, he opens the window and sights up a silhouetted Holmes.
Yes.
Who is in the opposite window.
Smoking a calabash and wearing a laurel wreath, I think, of some kind. I can't quite see it from this distance.
Very skinny neck. Yes. Very sort of like tapering shoulders. No arms.
Is he wearing a toga? Is he wearing a toga? What sort of cis heterosexual man would wear a toga voluntarily?
And to be clear, Watson is in the room, sees all of this happen, and does nothing until the guy shoots across the street and fucking obliterates this silhouetted Holmes. And then Watson panics.
Look, sometimes your Holmes has been going on about their ex for too long, and you get distracted thinking about that, and regret it later once they've been shot in the face.
He gets Charlie Kirk.
He gets the Charlie Kirk effect.
There's a big prove me wrong curtain above the window of Baker Street.
Yeah, and the thing is that unlike Charlie Kirk, who was just saying something astonishingly racist prior to being shot, Holmes magically reveals himself as having not been shot in the face and says something bafflingly phrenological.
I saw him shoot you a second ago.
Not me, my dear fellow. Merely the bust of Julius Caesar. Incidentally, you may have noticed that all through the ages, prominent men have prominent noses.
You know, the little known third item on the Sherlock Holmes utility belt. You got the calabash, you got the magnifying glass, and you have the finest calipers Victorian London can buy, you know?
Getting rhinoplasty to look like Sherlock Holmes.
They and Gregson take this sniper prisoner he has been thoroughly sissy hypnoed. He can't see sort of Holmes like wave his hand in front of his face, which you'd think would be an impediment to Charlie Kirking anyone, but he managed, you know. And he's fully in the like, I must kill Sherlock Holmes.
Yes, they have Sirhan him. This is, you know, might as well be called the woman in the blue polka dot dress. This hypnosis to an assassin's end here.
They picked a man for that purpose whose job was sniping.
You can just like enunciate anything. It sounds good. Incidentally, Moriarty has that sniper killed
almost immediately too. Like they barely do any. Like they take the sniper hostage for like a second. They leave him unattended, like outside the door of Holmes's place, and then he just dies immediately. This is like dead.
It's a great example of like how being arrested back in the day was mostly a kind of gentleman's agreement. Is now you just wait here. No, killed instantly. At this point, God bless whoever wrote in the Wikipedia summary for this film, which I'm relying heavily on, an itemized list of the next plot points, because it goes, Holmes now realizes that Moriarty's plan involves, and this is indented even, 1, killing women and cutting off their forefingers. 2, making rich single men who have been hypnotized believe they have committed the crime. 3, using this fake information to blackmail them. And 4, counting on the victims being too terrified to expose the scheme.
It's such a convoluted plot. Would it really require murder?
It's a simple 4-point plan.
It's the sort of plan that you sort of imagine could easily involve not actually killing anyone.
Right.
I don't know why you need the extra step of killing people in this when you could theoretically just get them drunk enough that they can't remember the night before and tell them that they've killed someone.
That sounds like too much work. And it wouldn't be devious enough. It wouldn't be the Napoleon of crime.
Or at least you don't need to use hypnosis to do it. You can just kill the person yourself.
But why do you have to kill one woman per finger? Like even if you need to do like a really gruesome murder, so it reaches like the headlines of the news, so that like you can still shame them into doing it. Couldn't you just like take all the fingers and just do one finger per blackmail victim?
0. Forget how many fingers a woman has.
It's a very loose end.
Like why do you have to kill a new woman per blackmail victim? That makes no sense.
There's one thing the Napoleon of crime can be described as it's you know, efficient.
Oh god.
The only place where you could learn how to pull this off would be the Hypnotism Club, where they keep all the hypnotists.
The one place in London where hypnosis happens.
Exactly.
This is a hypno bar.
They go to the Hypnosis Club, and there then follows a 20-minute digression, the sole purpose of which is the humiliation of the coward Dr. John Watson at the hands of the Chad hypnotist, right? Because Watson is like, I love a bit of medical chauvinism when it's not being applied to me. And so Watson goes and he gets the kind of like talk from the hypnotist, and he's like, yeah, very interesting. It's crazy how you still have to call me a doctor though, because my shit works. And you're just like conning people with no like will or self-esteem, and anyone with an ounce of brains in their head could never be hypnotized. Just sort of winding up the big boxing glove on a spring, right?
Yeah, and exactly. And this is a very interesting thing, just to bring it back to Arthur Conan Doyle's particular sort of interests and hyperfixations, is this was a man who, despite having created one of the most, you know, supposedly rigidly logical and empirical human beings on the planet, scientific mind, our dear Conan Doyle was a very vibes-based man, and loved him some spiritualism, loved him some hypnosis, loved him some psychic paraphernalia. This is a man who was taken in rather publicly, embarrassingly, by a very early photoshopped photo of some fairies that he has staked his entire reputation on being real.
ADHD has many weird symptoms, impulsivity, like you want to find new interesting things.
Sometimes you just get taken up by a new thing, you become all about it for a bit, and you end up having to go on record forever as believing in fairies.
Like, I get it. I'm on his side. How many times haven't I had a microfixation about some shit, and then a week later think like, oh, I'm so fucking stupid.
Yeah,
absolutely. But so Watson is of course publicly hypnotized and publicly humiliated
with a spiral. The spiral is involved here. There's an actual spiral. Stare into the spiral. Think about the highway.
Pulling an absolutely perfect Ahegao face, which is something that I don't know that I needed to see.
I thought it was tastefully done and quite artistic.
Being a Watson is a rough life. I was reading about Nigel Bruce, right, because I was kind of curious. Actors of this generation, right, they had been in like the First World War. Basil Rathbone was deeply traumatized, and I was like, Nigel Bruce, man who steps into mop buckets for a living. How was your war experience, right? Machine gunned in both legs and survived the war and came out of that, went to Hollywood to make like an extremely financially rewarding career of the performance of Oath. And I have no idea how he felt about that, because men didn't talk about their feelings, because that was hysterical.
Basil Rathbone, on the other hand, had a very different war, as you found out when you were researching this.
Yeah, Basil Rathbone. This is just an obscene thing to know. Basil Rathbone, his brother was killed, and he went a bit insane with grief in the way that makes you really brave. And so he was awarded the Military Cross, but the reason why he was awarded it was because he kept volunteering and then insisting to go out into no man's land on daylight reconnaissance missions dressed as a tree.
Classic.
Bizarre.
I'm picturing a full-blown Rambo-style montage of having the crinkle-cut cardboard, a little paper leaves, channeling a school nativity.
Just inventing the ghillie suit and doing the like
principles.
Call of Duty mission. He also, we know that he was wearing blackface to do this as well, which I don't know that was necessary.
Well,
it was daytime. Why would you...
That's a good point.
At the very least, he was impersonating a tree.
Yeah, tree face.
Right? You know, there are uses for blackface that are a lot worse than impersonating a tree. In fact, there are uses for blackface in other Basil Rathbone Sherlock Holmes films.
I'm scared.
We got some handlers.
I can go on the record as like the half Dutch person of the podcast to say that I do think that in some cases blackface can be justified. No. This is not a take that I have.
You're half Dutch?
Yeah.
I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
in half the cases, in approximately half the cases. For instance, when you're disguising yourself as a tree.
To do daylight reconnaissance on the Germans. Then that's one of the few cases it might be acceptable. And also Christmas. No.
There's some German soldier looking over the top with their binoculars going like, sir, there's a racist tree over there.
So there's a weird Zwarte Piet like out there with Santa Claus. Santa Claus is out in the no man's land.
Infantry.
Crucially, our beloved woman in green turns up at the Mesmer Club.
Presumably wearing green.
We still can't tell. We are dog blind on this.
Do they ever say? Do they ever mention?
No, not one single mention of the actual color of her outfit. It is very, very funny to me. She has been sent here by Moriarty, who was in her flat and telling her, you know, Sherlock Holmes is up my ass about this. You're gonna have to head him off at the pass. Instantly, that's also where we meet a very, very strange character who is a surgeon, I think.
I guess. He's a guy with a scalpel.
He's a guy with a scalpel who loves to operate on little dollies.
I'm dressing another dolly. A dear little nurse.
Because they had to tie up the fucking thing about the fingers.
Yes, yeah, that is a hangover from the draft of the screenplay where it was children having their fingers cut off. I think is why it's dolls specifically.
I should also note that Holmes has told Watson ahead of time, before he's had his mind entirely scrambled, right? That like the deal is we're going to the hypnotism club and I'm going to pose as some kind of rube moron who like can be seduced by this woman in green. So that she takes me back to her place and I catch them all in the act.
My will isn't stronger than hers. I deserve to be hypnotized.
And so she tries to seduce him. And Holmes goes, love some hypnotism, not sure if it's real, using it to investigate a case. I'm just so fascinated. He does the like, you're so funny thing on her brutally effectively.
Apparently, the filming of that scene went on for so long that they just got steadily smashed over the course of it until they were delivering their lines from under the table.
I love him. Just like you've had a few too many Irish whiskey and sodas.
Yeah, you know, which is to say, two. do.
I was gonna mention this also a bit later because like Holmes's entire plan here sounds just like a good weekend, because he gets invited by a very confident woman into her house, takes an edible.
Yep.
That's the implication, that like he takes some cannabis thing.
Cannabis japonica. Yes.
Yeah.
Cannabis japonica, an oriental soporific.
Drugs.
Does some sissy hypno.
Yes.
Drugs?
Thank you.
Which I think people in our community would just call a good weekend.
It would have an effect on me. It wouldn't have the effect that I think that Moriarty is gunning for here. And Holmes says,
I don't approve of sedatives.
which is very,
Man who is on like a diabolical amount of cocaine and heroin
He is
just like, well, it's
cross-faded.
fine because I balanced the heroin out with the cocaine.
exactly. My man is sober.
I'm neither down nor up. I'm
like a
perfectly level.
spirit
I'm
level.
perfectly balanced. I can always take more ketamine if I get too excited.
And then in flagrant disregard to the advice of our fellow partner in crime, McGruff the crime dog, he does not just say no. He in fact says, oh, go on then, give me some sedatives. Yummy, yummy, yummy.
Yes, mommy. He says that with also a Niagara face.
And she passes him some cannabis japonica.
This is not a real thing. We checked.
We checked.
It's not.
It is
It's-
just thing Japan. Yes.
which makes it scarier because it's foreign.
Cannabis for weebs. Holmes. She goes, off to the side, and the camera goes away from Sherlock Holmes while he is sort of contemplating taking this sedative, which he apparently takes.
Allegedly.
She then sissy hypnos him,
Yes.
right? She goes, look at this nice lotus flower. Don't you wish you were a girl?
And then like 4 men burst out of like the sides. Not a joke, this happens in the movie, because Moriarty comes on.
Yes.
Imagery wise here, I think it's fascinating that while she's doing the sissy hypno on him, she says, look into the reflection in the water. And canonically, what he sees sitting on the left of the sofa is a beautiful blonde woman wearing a supposedly green dress.
Interesting. Maybe he was the woman in green.
All along.
my God.
And the green was actually the cannabis japan.
The green of envy, perhaps.
So he is seemingly under, right? He's in the position of the sniper.
He's assumed
right?
the position, yeah.
And of course, we know as they trail one of the ones where he fights Hitler, they put a card on the beginning, kind of justifying themselves and shifting the time thing, where they're like, Sherlock Holmes is everlasting and invincible, right? He cannot lose. His intellect cannot be defeated. It's part of the reason why it's so formulaic, why it's so easy to parody, is all of this tension falls completely flat to a modern viewer because you go, he's just pretending. And Moriarty, brackets, smart, goes, he's probably just pretending, but I can't be sure.
I need to get my weird doll surgeon in here to cut him with a knife.
Which he tanks.
Yeah,
He mugs
100%
the rest of them.
Sigma.
Just like,
He absolutely bodies that. Not even a flinch.
And so Moriarty makes him walk to the escritoire, it's gay for desk, and and write a note which says, I, Sherlock Holmes, am chopped,
I'm Unk.
I'm washed.
I have decided to end my life.
Oh, absolutely beautiful drop. We're going to get a lot of use out of that.
Moriarty is too good at crimes, and I have to die now. Goodbye forever.
Also, Moriarty is very handsome. Flawless skin. You'd think he was 32,
He's
maybe.
the best at doing crimes.
Yeah.
He smells good.
He smells so good.
And so he has him walk out onto the balcony and step up onto the sort of brick terrace edge, which all of his goons, to be fair, are like, boss, isn't this a bit kind of dragging things out? What if his oafish live-in gay husband finds out about this? And Moriarty's like, no, I can't come unless it's like weird.
I have to do it, come on.
Yeah, I need this. It really is just out in the open, like, no, this is my thing. This is my treasure.
I need to be a
This
little
is for
freak
me.
about Holmes here,
Yeah.
doing this little walk. Like, I could kill him, but that's not...
Need more.
Give it
Yeah.
to me, I need it.
Yeah, absolutely. And so he walks and Chekhov's brick slips. I have bad balance sometimes. And Holmes sort of almost pitches over, but without breaking character, sort of retains his balance.
Exactly.
As he is about to go over the edge, of course, the Hays Code, it has to happen. You can't have, like... And it also is a Holmes story, right? Like, he has to triumph. Gregson and Watson... just absolutely head-to-toe in mop buckets. Full Ahegao as well. Completely hypnotized still.
Deus Ex Mop Bucket happens.
The zombie mop bucket army? This is horrifying. You can hear them coming a mile away.
It's a form of, like, lamellar armor. Yeah.
I want to know what Holmes's plan was there if they hadn't showed up.
Just die, I guess.
At some point, you have to break the kayfabe, and you have to say... Look, mate, I'm not actually hypnotized.
Just kind of edging Moriarty by getting closer and closer to the drop and be like, ooh,
might fall.
It's nice for the scene, but you know, I'm hitting a yellow light here. I feel a little bit imperiled. Not too much.
I need to put my safe word.
Yeah,
a little bit.
you know, I am here voluntarily. I'm not too scared, but I have my safe Watson nearby.
Watson acting as a kind of trip sitter here. How does Moriarty die? Canonically.
The way that Moriarty dies is the way that he dies in every single Basil Rathbone Sherlock Holmes film in which he appears.
This is what I'm getting to. Yes. Because, like, in the books, Moriarty goes over the waterfall with Sherlock Holmes at Reichenbach, right?
One of the most famous literary deaths in history.
Yeah.
He must fall, not in the metaphorical sense, but also in the literal sense of descending at a terminal velocity. This must occur.
Along with water, in some form.
The Moriarty must go south very quickly.
There's an Australian show by the name of Danger 5, of which I am a fan, in which the villain of every episode is Hitler.
Yes.
And the ending of every episode is Hitler making a daring escape by jumping out of a window. And they use the same shot every time, and it's funnier every time they do it.
So good.
The Basil Rathbone Sherlock Holmeses that contain a Moriarty have him do this every time he dies by falling.
You know, because they have to keep the door open for the sequel. Every time that they made these films, they had no idea whether they were going to do the final problem yet. So every time he appears, they have to make it the final problem. They have to include him falling.
Just in case.
And so Moriarty, he is like water. The cops cannot hold him. Leaps up onto the terrace.
Very flexible. He was the only man in the 1940s who could, like, cross his legs while sitting on the sofa.
Also very gay.
Very, very, very gay. And he leaps across to the ledge of a nearby building, grabs onto the drain pipe, and Looney Tunes Wile E. Coyote style sort of falls back. Like, there's a long pause, and he falls backwards to his death. Everyone looks down over the edge and just sort of grimly stays silent for a little bit, and then goes, well, I'll go deal with that, shall I?
It was really Looney Tunes. It was so Looney. Like, he really hung on there, and he could have put up a sign being like, oh no.
And this is, of course, the opportunity for Holmes to flex and to be like, Watson, you oaf. I have rendered myself perfectly insensible to the hypnosis of the East.
I took another drug that numbed the pain to the knife. I've done several dumps of ketamine.
The thing about being handed this drug by this beautiful woman is that I have many drugs on my person at any one time. They are falling out of my pockets like mints from a schoolboy's trousers.
Cocaine in like a bag of sugar.
I am constantly affected by incredible amounts of cocaine.
I didn't even check what it was. I just popped it in my mouth. Turns out it was a Flint's mouth-watering mint. I am drooling like a dog.
Watson, you oaf. You should know that Moriarty did not know that I never feel any pain due to the incredible amounts of narcotics I consume every day.
I haven't felt pain in 15 years. I haven't felt anything in 15 years.
Do you see these nails, Watson?
What year is it? I'm fairly concerned it's the 1890s.
I don't know that the Earth revolves around the sun, but I do know the body weight ratio of ketamine and cocaine.
It was the Victorian era a moment ago, and I blink and it's 1945.
Watson, help! I always seem to be fighting some kind of scary dog.
No one else can see it.
Over and over again.
I swear I fought this dog before.
Watson, the Hat Man. The Hat Man, Watson. The Hat Man is coming, Watson.
I've been like 50 different people. I swear I was a bit in the Soviet Union.
I was
a communist.
I was a mouse for a bit. An animated mouse, Watson. I don't know how that happened.
Danish, and when I spoke, no sound came out.
Watson, I took 4 hits of acid and I was in the future. I was made of cartoons.
Oh, I was young and then I was old and then I was young again, but not in a way that brought back any vitality.
Watson.
Just a Cockney accent inexplicably.
Watson, I did the cocaine and I was Benedict Cumberbatch, Watson.
I was a Ukrainian twink in a video game that was slightly too sprawling, but very, very gay.
Watson, I was a medical doctor in New England.
I was Roger Moore in New York one time for a TV movie in the 70s that we'll get round to.
And every time I looked around, you were right behind me, but you didn't seem to walk.
You appeared out of nowhere, like some kind of Slender Man, which is a reference I don't understand yet.
It was Lucy Liu.
Watson, I was a woman a few times.
You were a girl. You were a girl for a bit.
Lucy Liu.
It was beautiful. You were a beautiful woman.
Out of your Holmes, out of his gourd, looking at someone who is shifting back and forth between Nigel Bruce, Martin Freeman, and Lucy Liu over and over again.
I was Henry Cavill for a bit. I was so hench. Oh, you haven't even seen such muscles on a
Stranger Things.
I thought Moriarty was lupus for a while. Watson, please.
I had a limp. I was one half of the double act Fry and Laurie. I was a blues musician. I don't know when that happened. Oh gosh.
Watson, I dreamt I was Scandinavian for a while.
Watson. I was Will Ferrell in a badly considered spoof movie.
And here's the thing. The beautiful thing is, we don't have to do all of those. We're not going to do even close to all of these. We're going to cherry pick ruthlessly. But Sherlock Holmes, he belongs to the ages, but more than that, he belongs to being transgender.
I believe
I think we've proven that.
Quite right.
So.
The other good thing is that we needn't this isn't a Sherlock Holmes podcast specifically. It will be because he's the most famous and adapted detective of all time.
Christ.
But crucially,
there
bits
are about him,
so many more. And if you think we're not gonna do Poirot, you are wrong. If you do not think that we're going to do Miss Marple on this show, you are wrong. If you think we're not going to do Life on Mars on this show, we are going to do every detective we can find.
And every single one of them is transgender.
I feel
and it's obvious.
We live by a code. ADAT. All detectives are transgender.
I believe this. You know, in our assessment of these detectives, not only do we assess them based on whether they get the job done, we need to assess them based on the vibes and whether those vibes were worth co-opting in the hazy days of pre-transition. So we have to ask ourselves 2 important questions. Did this detective protect? And did they serve?
They did not protect.
Did not
Zero
protect
protection.
He did nothing.
So many people died.
Absolutely nothing. And he gives this little self-congratulatory, sort of monologue at the end. But he did nothing. He did absolutely nothing.
No. Not an ounce of protecting at all.
Did he serve, however? Did he serve?
A little bit.
The hat in this diabolical. However, I have to say, the overcoat, pretty good.
Yeah.
The cigarette, cunty.
Yeah.
The dressing gown remains, just effectively cunty in every single circumstance, especially when it's deployed tactically to get out of doing chores, which he does a lot.
Absolutely.
He puts that thing on as soon as he gets home, just so that he can send Watson out to do everything.
Just like me, for real.
I think he served. I think he did not protect, but he did serve.
This is a thing that we will come back to, I think, in every iteration of every detective show, which is
I hope so.
one weird item of clothing that defines every detective. There's no detective in the world that does not have at least one weird item of clothing. And in this one, it's the hat. It's a weird hat.
And what's good about this is that our next episode, for which you will have to subscribe to our Patreon.
It's a very novel structure, but we hope that this will be a sort of rewarding example of having a continuing relationship with us and our content.
A detective who has many weird items of clothing. This is an embarrassment of riches when it comes to weird items of clothing. We are going to try and take on the absolute behemoth that is Disco Elysium.
We're sticking with the heavy hitters. I reckon we can wrap that up in an hour and a half.
Yeah,
No
this
problem.
60-minute film has only taken us an hour and a half to talk about. I'm sure we'll handle a million
about
words.
the same.
It'll be all right.
Yeah. It'll be impressionistic.
Come listen to us bite off more than we can chew.
Patreon.com/Be Gay Solve Crimes, I think it is.
Be Gay
If
Solve
it's
Crimes.
not,
Yes, I will edit in.
it will be in the description. Yes.
It feels sort of superfluous for me to suggest where our audience can find either of you. But if you should like to plug anything now.
All of the other podcasts, Mia's YouTube channel.
Yes.
And
Watch my channel.
Your local library.
Your local library. Go to your local library. We miss you. It's been so long since you were last there. I know that you were there as a child. We remember. Come back.
Subscribe to the Patreon. Thank you so much, and we will see you. We hope to see you, much like your local library, next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Oh, wonderful.